Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments, such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. Idaho is a big state, and it covers a lot of territory. Idaho Matters wants to take you to every corner of the Gem State by visiting all 44 counties, and we need your help to do that. Email us your story ideas at idahomatters@boisestate.edu for our new series we're calling Idaho 44. And be sure to join us each weekday at noon and 8 on Idaho Matters and travel the state with us. More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. Back in the summer of 2014, many people were introduced to the Bluebird Man. At that time, Al Larson was 91 years old, and he had been putting up nesting boxes for bluebirds since 1978, creating hundreds of homes and safe spaces for the colorful birds in the Oahe Mountains. And thanks to a half-hour documentary by the Wild Lens Collective, Larson's story went worldwide, inspiring others with his amazing conservation efforts to save his beloved bluebirds. Well, the Bluebird Man passed away this month at the age of 103. And we wanted to bring you this interview he did 10 years ago with our senior producer, Samantha Wright, where he talked about how he got started saving bluebirds. So let's take a listen.
Al? Tell me about your first memory of the bluebird. I read about it, but I want you to tell me about the first time you remember seeing a bluebird.
That was quite a few years ago. I was about 15 years old, working on a ranch, and I was riding fence to make sure the wires were up to keep the cattle in the field. It was up on a high ridge south of Jordan Valley, and I saw a male mountain bluebird fly from a fence post down the draw. It really didn't make that much of an impression of me. I didn't think it was much of a thing at the time, but in later years, when I got to know bluebirds, that instant popped back into my mind, and that was my first encounter of a bluebird.
Okay, let's fast forward. You served in World War II. You worked in a sawmill. You actually helped create Idaho's first chapter of the Audubon Society.
Yes.
And you retired, started looking for a new project back in 78, I think it was. What happens next?
Well, I retired in 1984. I was still working for the Boise Cascade Lumber Company, and I got interested in bluebirds by seeing a western bluebird go into an abandoned woodpecker cavity up on our ranch, and about that time, National Geographic had an article about bluebird trails in southeastern Canada, and also Dr. Zeleny started the North American Bluebird Society in Maryland, and they had an article in the parade section of the newspaper about bluebirds, and I just kind of put two and two together with the bluebird trails in the east, and with this bird I saw in this woodpecker cavity at the ranch. I thought, hey, if I'd put some boxes up, I could have a captive bird there to take pictures of. And so that was a start of it.
And that's history. That's how you got started.
Yeah, I put up 25 boxes at the ranch that fall. And next spring, let's see, this was about 1978 when I put the boxes up at the ranch. And I had several of those boxes used by bluebirds that first year. Well, about the same time, I think it was the fall of '78. Audubon chapter had a field trip out to the Owyhees, and this was in the fall. The birds were migrating, and I happened to see a mountainside covered with bluebirds. I think there's probably close to 50 bluebirds up there on this mountainside in a real loose flock. And I thought, this is a good place to put up some boxes. Well, I put up 25 boxes up there too. And that was the start of what I call the Owyhee Bluebird Trail. Then Audubon had a field trip up to Prairie, Idaho, with the intention of putting up nest boxes. So a number of the members of the chapter built boxes, and we had a field trip up there and mounted 29 boxes at Prairie. And some of those were used the first year. Well, I had my trail over in the Owyhees that I started keeping records on. And then I thought, hey, I might as well keep records on this Audubon trail too at Prairie. So that was the start of those two trails for me. As time went on, I kept adding a few more boxes and a few more boxes until I had 155 at Prairie and about 135 out in the Owyhees. And that wasn't enough, I guess. I put a few boxes up near Sage Hen Reservoir to see what I could do up there. And I also got a few boxes put up around Cascade Reservoir. Then we had the Southwestern Idaho Birders Association started, and I thought there's some real good habitat over near Jordan Valley, so I talked to the club about it, and they said, sure, we'll put some boxes up on the Trout Creek on the road to Delamar Mine. So that was the start of that. We had a field trip and put up, I think it was something like 25 boxes, which was donated by another party who had a bluebird trail up near Lewiston. We've added a few boxes on that trail too, which makes it 33 there. All told, I've probably monitored as many as 350 boxes during each summer.
Wow. What do you do with the boxes? Tell me what happens on the trail.
We put these nest boxes up on fence posts, on trees. It just takes the place of a natural cavity. The birds find them and use them as a natural cavity. And so when I go out now, I open the box, look in, and record what I see. If there's nothing, I just write down a clean box. Then if there's a nest started, I'll put that down. And whether it's just started, halfway finished, or finished nest. If I find eggs in a nest, I write down how many eggs I see in the nest. And if there's nestlings in there, I try to judge the age of the nestlings from 1 to 18 months old. Then I also am a master bird bander, licensed by the Fish and Wildlife Service and also with the Fish and Game Department. So I put bands on all of the nestlings that I find in the boxes. And that's what keeps me going out so many times during the summertime, because of the narrow window of time to put bans on nestlings. I like to have them from 8 to under 15 days old. So if they're 6 or 7 days old, I wait until they're not over 14 or 15 days old, and I go out again so I can band them. So that's what dictates my time to go out and check the boxes again. If I know there's not going to be any birds to band in the box at a particular trip, I can skip that one and go to the box that does have nestlings in that I've recorded previously.
And you've become the Bluebird Man.
That's what they call me. I haven't sprouted wings yet.
And Al, why is this important? Why are these bluebirds important to you? Why do you keep doing it, I guess, is my question.
Why are the bluebirds important to me? Well, after I got to know the bluebirds a little better, I just think they're a wonderful creature to work with. They seem to take to human disturbances a little bit, or quite a bit. It's just like an extended family to me. I see all thousands of my kids flying around out there in the countryside, and it's just great to know that I've had something to do with keeping them out there. It's kind of you might say, a spiritual thing with me.
Well, thanks for coming in. This is awesome.
Yeah.
That was Al Larson, Idaho's own Bluebird Man, speaking with our senior producer, Samantha Wright, back in 2014. He passed away this month at the age of 103 years old. This is the Idaho Matters podcast. I'm Gemma Gaudette.